What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to wait a little while in the beginning, let everybody get a chance to join and stuff. Anyway, today's discussion, I guess, or at least the way I'm going to start this discussion, is talking about improving your paintings and how I improved mine. And, I think I've hit on all these points throughout the years in all my videos, but I've never really, I have a different perspective now on a lot of things because I'm farther along in my journey than I was a few years back. So basically, I have a few notes here in front of me, a few points to hit on. Anybody hear me now? Just should have tested this first. Are we all good? Do I sound good? Anyway, um, I'll end up talking louder as the thing progresses. I just kind of woke up here about an hour and a half or something ago. I'm on the West Coast, so it's about 9:45 right now. Anyway, so I'll go over these few points. Basically, let me start at the beginning because let's just walk through it. I think I started drawing when I was about 5, when I was really young, and I kind of always just enjoyed drawing and doing coloring and all that stuff. And as a kid, I was really encouraged to keep drawing and keep drawing. So even as a kid, my drawings didn't look great, but I did have the ability. I ended up honing the ability to really, my hand-eye coordination got a lot better over time. So I started at 5. So by the time I was like 15, I was doing pretty okay drawings. They were pretty nice. I wasn't the best. I'm still not the best. I still am working on drawing and working towards that. I'm kind of adding that back to my exercise regimen, if you want to call it that, for my painting and art. Sketching all the time and doing drawing. You know, Drawing is a huge part of it. So there's a lot of people that aren't interested in drawing, but unfortunately, it's a huge, huge part of it because that's where you get the values right over time, and you're able to see values a lot easier when it comes to painting. At least that's how I explain my kind of painting journey, because I got into painting just a few years ago, and a lot of people didn't believe that I had just started painting 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. But I think part of that is because I had been drawing for so long in my life already. 20 years of drawing experience, and not really 20 years, 20 years since I began drawing, but as a kid, you don't really stick with it. But drawing and sketching is the foundation of any art, whether you do, color pencils or markers or watercolor or anything. The values, the edges, and the drawing, the structure of it is important. Um, so it always comes back to that, to drawing. If you're into creating realistic images with your paintings and with your art, then drawing is a huge part of it. Just sketch more. The only What I would tell you to do is just sketch more, sketch all the time, sketch what interests you, because if you're drawing stuff that you don't want to be drawing or you're not interested in, it's like torture. I had to do that in high school with like art classes. They would set up this big still life, and I remember one still life we had to do, and it was pretty big. It's probably 18 by 24 sheet of paper, and we had to cut it vertically. Not cut it, but we had to separate it vertically into 4 sections, and each section we did a different medium, and it was just torture because like one part I could do drawing, and then the next part I had to do color pencils, which I didn't really like, and then I had to do, markers or painting, and but even to begin, I didn't like the still life, so it was a a big piece of, something I didn't want to do. But in the end, I mean, it's all practice, it's all hours putting in the work. So moving on to the next point is understanding the fundamentals of art creation, um, and that comes down to drawing. It comes down to if you're doing painting, it's color, uh, values, and edges and composition. So understanding these fundamentals. And also that moves into the next point, which is understanding the technical aspects of whatever medium you're using. I'm talking about painting, so understanding how the paint's going to handle in many different situations. That's really important. I think that's probably why it's one of the first that I mentioned here, because it's so important. I think a lot of people, they jump into painting, and they've done a few paintings, or they've been painting for a few months, but they still haven't understood the fundamentals of how the technical aspects of how that paint is going to work, how the brushes you're using. You have to be really um, you have to be really sensitive to the slight changes of brushes, of pressure, the amount of pressure you use, whether you're scrubbing and rubbing the canvas. And with mine, my little plein air box, that thing just wobbles everywhere. And people are like, how can you paint on that? But I've been using it for so long that, you know, I automatically, when I need it to stay still, I'll hold it and then paint, softer or slower still. But when it doesn't matter, I can just rub it, scrub it in, and the thing just, it just wobbles like mad. But I'm used to that, so I can handle that. Um, but anyway, getting back to the point, the technical aspect. So, when I used acrylics, I would paint really thinly. So I would use a lot of water and a little bit of paint, and see what would happen when I thinned it down. And then I would try to paint on top of that while it was still wet, paint on top of it while it's dry. I would run, when I would do these paintings, I would just run into a lot of different situations. So I ended up developing this kind of library of knowledge that, through practice, you just understand, okay, I'm putting down this thin stroke of paint with a lot of water. It's probably going to dry really quickly because the water's just going to dry, and then the paint will be dry. Um, so then I can paint over top of it in a minute or two. You figure out these technical aspects. So when it comes down to like oil painting, what's going to happen when I thin it down with Gamsol a lot and put it on there? The paint might start to crack or something. Um, but it's, usually it doesn't matter because early stage, you just wipe it off. What's going to happen when, I use paint straight from the tube and I do like dry brushing? And what happens if I do dry brushing over top of something that's wet, or, there's all these different technical aspects, and then using different kinds of tools, kinds of brushes, palette knives, sable brushes or bristle brushes. Um, it also depends on what kind of canvas you're painting. Are you painting on linen? Are you painting on canvas? Is it oil primed? Is it acrylic primed? All these things play into it. So, and that brings to the next point is experimenting. So you definitely have to experiment with your materials to understand the technical aspects of the paint application, and the painting process. Otherwise, you're not going to understand what's going to happen. And going back to that point of the technical aspects is trying out different mediums. I've never tried liquid. A lot of people use liquid, but I've never tried it because I don't really have an interest in trying it really. I think it speeds up drying. It can thin down your paints, but it also speeds up drying. And I'm just, it's not something I'm interested in trying. So, you know, when it comes down to it, experiment with what you're interested in. I experimented with uh, Gamblin's medium called Neo McGilp. And I really like that medium. I haven't used it in a while, but I liked using it when I did use it. Usually, I'll have the intention of using it, and then once I lay my colors out and I start painting, I totally forget about it. Uh, I forget that, I just get in the zone. I don't even think about mediums or anything. Um, but when I do remember to use it and I put a little bit out on my palette, I enjoy using it. It's real smooth. It gives the paints just this smoothness when it goes on. I don't always need that, um, but when I do need to like increase the flow a little bit and I can't thin it down, or I don't want to thin it down, I can use that Neo McGilp, and just gives you a little more fluidity, fluidness to the paint, and it's very smooth. So yeah, understanding the technical aspects is just as big as like, understanding the fundamentals and understanding drawing. Um, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of an analogy for understanding the technical aspects. It's like, I don't know. It's like trying to draw with I don't know. It's kind of like drawing with a feather quill or something from the old days, and not understanding like how much you need to dip the ink in, and do you need to wipe off the excess? Not understanding how that's going to work. So if you're going to go, you're working on a final draft of something and you haven't even practiced, and you dip into this feather quill and you just start laying it on and it just inks everywhere. You don't understand what's going to happen with your materials. So it's very important to understand what's going to happen with your materials when you go to use them. I guess that's what I'm basically trying to say. So yeah, experimentation is huge. I've experimented with all different brands of paint, different brushes. I just recently switched over my brushes and I'm gonna experiment. When I save up some money here, I'm gonna buy some even newer brushes and try those out. But right now, I ordered Royal and Langnickel Sable Tech brushes, and these are brushes I didn't know that they were sables, um, but I ordered them because I usually don't like sable brushes. But I ordered them, and because I had heard a lot of things about them, and I really enjoy them more than my bristle brushes that I've been using for the last 4 years. I've used bristle brushes, and I started using these Sable Techs just like a month ago, and I haven't used a bristle brush in a month or two. It's very rare that I'd use a bristle brush. I'll use a bristle brush to kind of block in maybe, or block in the background. But after that, these Sable Techs are really smooth. It gives you a light touch. You can soften edges real easily. With the bristle brush, it kind of scrapes along, and sometimes it would take off more paint than I wanted. And with these brushes, it's like almost having a mixture between a bristle and a sable. I mean, it's beautiful. Um, but eventually here, I'm gonna order some rosemary brushes because those are the ones that the everybody uses that are professional. So I want to try those out. I have some rosemary, but I don't like the kind that I have. I'm gonna get a different selection of brushes. But anyway, it's just experimenting with your brushes, and it's funny that I've been using bristle brushes for the last 5 years, and now I don't even use them anymore. Very rarely, because I experimented with something new that I came across, and it changed the way I paint. It changed how I approach things, and it's interesting. So. Anyway, I'll get to you guys' comments in the chat and stuff in a little while. I just want to get through this kind of discussion, so it'll be a nice video that people can watch once it's posted and it's not live anymore. Um, but then I'm going to get to you guys' chat questions probably in about 15 minutes or so. Um, so anyway, just so you guys know what's going on here. So my next point, and I'm kind of halfway through the points already, so let me recap real quick. There's draw more and sketch more. So, um, I mean, that's the fundamental of every art form: drawing, sketching, Every artist did it. Go back and look. Sargent did drawings. Um, all the all the master painters from 15th, 16th, 17th century, all those folks did sketches and had sketchbooks and all kinds of things. Um, Understanding fundamentals of painting, so like drawing, color, edges, values, composition, and really, I kind of glazed over that one, but exploring composition and really, that kind of comes later into. You really have to understand the technical aspects first, and then you'll start understanding. Uh, then you start understanding like image creation, like when to soften edges, what edges to soften, where your focal area should be, what kind of colors to use. I mean, that's all personal preference and taste. Um, but there are some things to learn when dealing with that, color theory, all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff will help improve your work over time. Experimentation with materials, and that can experimentation can, you can go where you want with that. You can experiment with the image creation part of it, with the physical materials, all kinds of things. So no limits there, and that's the way it should be. That's what art's about. Is there's no limitations, really, truly. Um, so practice more. That's another thing, and that comes back to the drawing and sketching, and something I've been working at a lot more here lately is getting back into the sketching and drawing and stuff. But practicing more, and that's big. That's a lot of people don't do it enough, and sometimes I find myself in that. Sometimes I don't do a painting for a month, but here lately I've been painting a lot. I've been trying to do a few times a week. I'll do a small painting. I just did a painting the other day, a 9 by 12. Um, so even if it's small paintings, try to do one small painting every day or every other day. And the more you do it, the more hours you put in, the better you understand those technical aspects, and the better you'll start to build upon everything that you know or that you're learning. You'll make a lot of mistakes. I mean, it's not an easy thing to just jump in and just start improving your work over every time. Um, Sometimes you'll probably improve a lot. You'll make a lot of strides, and then you do another painting and it's a complete failure. And that's happened to me a lot of times. I'll learn all this and I'm like, wow, this painting came out really great. I've felt like I've made like a quantum leap, with things I'm learning just by reading an art book or something. And then I go to do another painting, and it's like I've forgotten almost everything. Um, so you have ups and downs, and that's another thing is recognizing, that it takes time and patience to create something great. It takes a lot of patience. But practicing more, and what does that encompass? Painting small, doing small studies of things, and then using those studies to create larger works. So sometimes, first time you do a painting, it's not going to be the best painting. Sometimes you have to paint it multiple times. You work out all the kinks when you're doing the study, um, and then you kind of critique that small little study and go, okay, maybe I could change this, the color, or maybe I could turn it this way and do this, and then you apply that to a larger, more finished final work of it. Um, so yeah, painting small, and also painting outside, painting from life, not just painting outside. That's plein air, but painting from life as well, still lifes. When I think almost 2 years ago now, I started painting still lifes, and I was doing this with acrylics, and it was pretty challenging. It was really challenging, and but what I found was that these still lifes, I was able to control all the elements. I was able to control what I wanted to paint, what was going to be in the scene. I was able to control the lighting, the temperature of the lighting, the color of the lighting, uh, everything. You know, when you're painting outside in plein air, it's very difficult because the light moves very quickly. It doesn't wait for you, especially if you paint in the morning or in the evening where the light is um, most interesting times of the day. Uh, you know, the light moves very quickly. Mother Nature does not care what you're doing. It just happens anyway. You know, I've painted sunsets where, uh, you know, I had looked up what time the sun was going to set. You know, sunsets at 8:30, so I got out there about 8 o'clock in the evening and set up my painting easel in about 5 or 10 minutes, and then captured that last 15 to 20 minutes of just, you know, the most orange pink light you can get from a sunset, and it goes quick. Before you even know it, the sun's down, it's gone. The sky is just, you know, it's already turning twilight. So, and those are usually a hit or miss. So that's like an extreme example of painting outside and how it can be difficult. Um, but painting still lifes is a whole nother ball game because you're able to control things. And you know, if you fail at painting that orange or apple the first time, you just, you know, you throw that painting away, you start over. So that's you know, something that's huge to me. Is painting from a still life, setting up a still life, and painting from life really helped me improve like all the aspects that I learned. You know, the values. I would paint. I would set up a completely white background and foreground and paint objects. You know, lit up with complete white background. And then I tried doing it with like a gray middle gray background and then a black dark background. And then I just experimented with colors from there. You know, so for a month I did like light backgrounds, and then the next month I did dark backgrounds. And it helps you understand values and how to control those. And um, so yeah, that's important. But I also learned, okay, how can I make this more interesting? I can soften, you know, some of the edges, uh, dr- you know, dramatically, and you know, kind of alter what I was seeing. You know, I wasn't being super realistic about it, but I was also, that also works with like the image creation, making an interesting painting. You know, sometimes I would change, you know, increase the contrast a little bit or increase the saturation. But I wouldn't worry about that in the beginning stages. It's really focusing on, um, you know, focusing on the reality of what you're seeing. And then once you get that down, once you really understand what you're seeing, then you can kind of tweak it a little bit, play with it. You know, start. Uh, you know, I don't even really want to say this, but um, because I'm just now starting to do it. I mean, I've done it in the past, but now I'm really have a real grasp on it. Is tweaking the value structure. You know, creating a high key scene, and all that is controlling the values. So, like, you know, the dark of my headphones here, making this dark a lot lighter, um, and increasing the light everywhere else. So your scene becomes high key and not low key. There's more color in low key. You know, it all depends. But anyway, that's getting a little too advanced for this discussion. So basically, you know, painting outside, painting still lifes. Still lifes are going to be your best friend, especially like in the winter if you don't like being out in the cold. Set up still lifes and just paint those all winter, and then once spring rolls around, go outside and paint outside all summer. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing. But I think this winter I'm gonna go outside and paint more. Even if it's cold, I'm gonna bundle up because I want to paint some winter type scenes. I mean, I don't get much of a winter here in Northern California, but it does get a little bit cold and cloudy, so that adds to the mood of things. That's more of what I talked about last week was the mood and emotion and style and things of that nature. Um, but this weekend, it's about improving your work. Um, and one of the last major points is getting a critique, and not just a critique from anyone, getting a critique from somebody that's better than you at painting. And that can be tough to do, tough to find nowadays. Um, or getting a critique from another artist. They don't really have to be better than you. They could just be different from you. They get a different perspective. But what I'm saying is, don't go get a critique from your mom, who is an accountant that works, that has no idea about art. Um, yeah, maybe you can show it to her and say, yeah, what do you think of this? I mean, how does it make you feel? Kind of get like a viewer's perspective on it. But I wouldn't really get a critique from them. You know what I mean? Um, in terms of critiquing the aspects of the painting, like the values, the drawing, the edges, the color, the composition, the mood, the emotion, you know, uh, all that stuff. Um, and there's a lot to it, the perspective, proportions. So yeah, getting a critique and also learning how to critique your own work, so that you can improve it yourself, at least for the most part. I mean, it's still good. I send my art out all the time to other artists to critique. One artist in particular that I enjoy sending it to and getting a critique from time to time, and it's really helpful. It's really, because those paintings that I thought were really great that I did, a larger work that I really took a lot of time, took a day and a half on, um, and really planned everything out, really took my time, and then I would send it to him, and he would go, "Yeah, maybe you should tweak this. The flow of it. My eye moving around it kind of gets caught up in this area. Your values. Maybe you should add in some darker accents because there's not a lot of dark here." He told me all this stuff, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't even see any of that really." So critiques are very valuable. Um, So yeah, I would try to, that's kind of the overall package, at least from what I could think of. I'm going to poll you guys here in a minute and ask you if, what else is there. And so I'm going to go over it real quickly. Draw more, sketch more, understand the technical aspects of whatever medium you use of painting. Experiment with your materials. Understand the fundamentals of image creation. Uh, Putting those into practice, practicing more, every week, at least doing one painting per week. I mean, that's 52 paintings a year. If you can double that, it's 104 paintings a year. So, really putting in a lot of time, a lot of practice, many hours. Painting smaller, doing smaller studies. Um, you know, Switching back between painting small and painting large. I mean, it's good to really understand both, but painting smaller at first will help you just see it overall better, more quickly, I think. Doing 6x8s, 8x10s, 9x12s, um, probably up to 12x16 is a good size, um, to work on for a while, um, to really get the overall image looking nicely. Uh, so painting small, painting plein air, painting outside, painting still lifes, painting from life. No matter what it is, painting from life is very important. That's a huge one. And getting critiques uh, from your peers, from other art students, from other artists. Um, if you can get critiques from really great artists out there, then that's huge. Um, Also, one thing I just remembered: reading reading art books. That's huge. That has been very valuable to me as well. Reading all kinds of art books, painting books, um, landscape painting, understanding the aspects of landscape painting, daily painting, um, reading books on great artists and looking at all their work, and then really get inspired from other artists' work, and understanding how they created what they did. So dissecting their work. Another point is doing master copies or copies of other artists that you enjoy. Um, Usually, you want to do artists that are dead, that have passed from hundreds of years ago. Doing smaller studies of their paintings um, is very beneficial. You learn a lot from that. Um, to really understand like what colors they mixed up, how they mixed their colors, how they created the overall image. So there's a few other things that I could remember off the top of my head that have helped me. Reading the art books, that's huge to me. Just getting other perspectives um, on all these things that I've touched on. The fundamentals and the technical aspects. Getting perspectives on the process of painting, all these different processes. There's different ways to start. There's so many different ways to start each painting. Um, so anyway, that's kind of all I have that I can think of at the moment. So I'm gonna jump. I've been talking for about 30 minutes, so that's a good place to in the discussion for the YouTubers out there that are gonna watch this after it's been recorded. I don't think many people watch really far. So uh, anyway, let's jump to the chat now and let's see what you guys are saying. If there's anything valuable in here. Um, Good point. Children are great for critiquing or criticizing. That's to some extent, yeah. I think just because kids will tell you the truth, but um, I, I would try to get more of like a professional um, critique. You know what I mean? All right, what's going on, guys? Are you guys alive out there? You guys are just saying all kinds of crazy stuff. Which artists are your biggest influences? Yeah, I've answered this many times, but I'll answer it again because it's important to hear. Edward Leon Cortez, huge influence. Love his work. Uh, Joaquin Sorolla, huge influence there. Edgar Payne, love his work. John Singer Sargent. Um, there's so many artists. Let me open up my inspiration folder here because there's just a ton of people. Zorn, Anders Zorn. Claude Monet, huge inspiration. Um, Velasquez, Diego Velasquez. Frederick Church, love his work. Um, Isaac Levitan, Jeremy Lipking, Richard Schmid, all the guys that are alive today. John Carlson. I mean, I could go on forever. There's so many people. Nikolai Fachin, Rembrandt, of course. Scott Christensen. Oh, Thomas Hill. Love Thomas Hill's work. Willard Metcalf, William Merritt Chase, William Wint. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. I mean, there's a lot of names, a lot of folks out there. There was one recently, Alphonse Musha. So anyway, I mean, there's just a ton of people. So that's most of like the big ones. Do you have a professional education in art or self-taught? Well, I'll say that I'm not academically trained. It would be nice if I could be, um, but I'm kind of just taking my own route in this painting journey and figuring things out on my own. I've kind of just learned from video, DVDs on the internet, Richard Schmidt's DVDs, Jeff Watts' DVDs. Oh, a lot of other artists, professional DVDs, and reading painting books, reading Sargent, um, books about Sargent's work, Soroya's books, um, just looking at going to museums, looking at other people's art, um, really immersing myself in the whole process, and um, just things like that. I mean, it's just figuring all these things out and drawing more. I'm getting into drawing more. I really need to start drawing more. Hey, I have a big question. What do you think is a good idea for a 3D project with the technique printmaking? I have no idea, bro. Good luck is all I can say. I'm really not. It's hard for me to come up with ideas like that. You know what I mean? What do you think of Blue Ridge oils? What's your favorite brand? Blue Ridge oils are fantastic. I've used them. I bought one set of them, and I still have some of them laying around. I use the ultramarine blue. Really great paint. Oh, I have the alizarin crimson too. It's a strong color. The There's such strong colors that doesn't take a lot of paint, and they're really smooth. I really like their paint. I might order some more now that I think of it, but I wish I could order the paint in bulk. That's one of the things about it is like if I could order the paint in bulk and save a little bit of money, I would do it. But since I can't, it's kind of a deal breaker for me at the moment. So I've ordered Gamblin's paint in bulk. Like I've ordered a little 8-ounce can of it, and then I just tube it up myself with large tubes. Um, so yeah, I would love to um, be able to buy that paint in bulk. Maybe I can contact them or something, but I highly doubt it. But anyway, yeah, great oil paint for real. Painting outside takes a lot of focus and requires you to be quick and precise. Yeah, it does definitely, and I it definitely doesn't happen the right way all the time. That's for sure. What do you think of Windsor and Newton? I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I don't even try Windsor and Newton. Um, it's some personal thing I have. I can't explain what it is, but I don't know. I have a bias and I don't know why I have it. But I've tried out. I've used some Windsor and Newton, but it's nothing special. Um, Gambling is just fine, and it works for me. Um, but in my opinion, it doesn't really matter that much. It's really try it out and see what works for you. That's what I always go back to is if something I'm saying doesn't work for you, then do what does work for you. You know, Oil paint is hard to work with. Really, I don't know. What's so hard about working with oil paint? I'm curious. I find it pretty easy. Acrylics are hard to work with for me, and I use those for like 3 or 4 years. And I could say acrylics are hard to work with. They dry quickly. You have to use a lot of paint because the paint doesn't go a long way. Is it better to spend money on expensive brushes or paint? Oh, that's a tricky one. That's a good question. That's a good question. I think in the long run, paint is going to be more expensive than the brushes. I mean, you could do, the brushes, if you got really good brushes and you're doing small paintings, I mean, the brushes are only, 7 to 10 bucks each. So you're only spending like, 7 to 20 bucks on brushes for two to three brushes. But buying paint, if you buy expensive paint, if you're buying high quality paint, if you buy like cadmium red and cadmium yellow, those small paint tubes alone are like 17 to 23 bucks or something. Um, so that's a tough call. It's really about your budget. If you can afford to get all expensive paint, if you can spend 50 to 60 bucks and get all expensive paint, do it. And and then the next month just save up for the brushes. It's only 20 bucks, you know what I mean? Instead of going out to eat at your favorite restaurant one night or instead of going to the movies one weekend, save that money and put it toward your art, man. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I don't go out and buy clothes every weekend or buy, I don't buy anything. Really I buy food and I buy art books and art supplies, you know what I mean? Um, that's a tough question. Yeah, I think paint is really important in the long run cuz student grade paint is it has like usually has powder filler, so the pigment isn't as strong, and you have to use a lot more. The student paint, you end up using like twice as much paint anyway, so you might as well get the high quality paint, and it'll last a little bit longer because you don't have to use as much paint. That's what I found. Because I've been using a Viridian that's a student quality that I've had laying around for a while, and I just wanted to use it up, and I have to use so much of it when I'm using it with other paint mixtures because the other colors are so much stronger. And the Viridian, I have to just use like so much of it to get it to mix in and stuff. Um, so yeah. What type of food do you like? I mean, I like my main thing is right here, fruit. Fruit. I like cooking vegetables for dinner. Little bit of rice, a little bit of quinoa. I don't like eating a lot of rice because it's not I don't think it's good for you. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's what I like to eat. I don't want to talk too much about it, but uh, do you use memory in making a painting? That's a good question. Um, not really memory, but I kind of use like, sometimes most of the time I use painting references, like picture references, photo references, or I paint from life. I don't really use memory a whole lot. Um, not saying that you shouldn't, but I just don't. Um, but I do rely on like feeling. If I'm using a photo reference, I try not to copy it completely. I get the structure down, the drawing down, and then I just kind of, play with the colors, play with the values, and I, move things around if I need to. I should use more memory, and that goes back to sketching. You know, um, I want to start instead of taking photo references, I want to go out and start doing sketches and then using those black and white sketches and make paintings from those. So I have to rely more on memory for the colors um, and possibly the values. So that's a good exercise, and that's something uh, that I want to do. Just reading some questions here. Uh, I think water mixable oils are a great medium between regular oils and acrylics. What do you think? Yeah, I definitely agree. For sure. I would paint in layers more thicker and more thicker on top of that, and that's basically what you do with oils. So yeah, water mixed oils are great. I'd take criticisms from any artist regardless. I mean, that's up to you, bro, but for me, I wouldn't want, you know, I see what your point is, but to me I wouldn't. But anyway, most there's a good point. Most students shouldn't be using student grade materials. Just makes it harder for them to learn most of the time. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I used student grade paints for like a year or two, and and then I started making more money, and I was able to afford the higher quality paint. And personally, it wasn't much. There wasn't much of a learning curve for me to for me to figure it out. There wasn't a huge difference, but I do know with the pigment and just the way that it handles and stuff, it's totally different. Um, there's just more pigment in the the professional quality. Red Sox, thanks for joining me. Glad to see you here. Glad you made the live stream. I've been on for about 52 minutes now, so you may have to go back once this live stream's over. You can go back and watch the beginning, and that was kind of the improving your paintings discussion. Now I'm kind of just checking out the live feed and answering any questions. I don't really think about if he's better or I'm better, and that's about getting the criticism from critiques from other artists. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I wouldn't want to get a critique from somebody that may not understand all the aspects of values and edges and things like that. But yeah, it could still be valuable to get some kind of criticism. I understand that. I mean, how to motivate oneself for drawing. Um, just do it. Don't worry about. That's the thing. You can't worry about motivation. You have to just do it. Become a robot and do it. Because if you just ride that wave, the motivation comes in waves, and one day you'll be super motivated. The next week you're not going to end up doing it. And I've been through that cycle plenty of times. And now with painting and stuff, I try not to even worry about if I'm motivated or not. I just I just do it. Um, and that's kind of a level you have to get to in your mind. Is just you can't worry about motivation. It's like waking up early every day and working out or something. You have to just do it. Otherwise, you know, otherwise you only do it for a few days and then you'll give up and quit. In drawing from reference, you probably subliminally interpret what you see with past images. So on a subconscious level, you might be drawing from memory. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, over time, you draw things in a certain way. If you've like painting or drawing trees, if you once you've drawn hundreds of them, you kind of understand how trees work, or not how they work, but what it takes to get them to look like a tree, with the least amount of information to portray it. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that's a really good point. And that's kind of my take on it. How to dry oil paintings. You sit it on a shelf and you let magic happen. Magic takes over and it dries. Patience. Patience dries oil paintings. Yeah, you can use a fast drying medium, but I don't really recommend it. I kept it for 1 day and it didn't dry. Okay, keep it for 2 days, keep it for 3 days, keep it for 4 days. It should dry. Here's a good quote: ignore praise and criticism equally. That's an interesting quote. Even if you're not motivated, you should definitely do something. Got to keep the hand and eye coordination. Yep, definitely. Carrying a drawing pad that fits in your shirt pocket along with a mechanical pencil. Yeah, that's a good tip. How do I innovate while learning? That's a good question. How do I innovate while learning? What do you mean by innovate? You know, I mean, just put your own personality into it. Um, do something different. I mean, that's what innovation is, right? Building, improving, doing something different while improving it, creating something, inventing something new. Um, that's my take on it anyway. Unless Jeff Watts is critiquing you, then you shouldn't ignore it. Yeah, I like Jeff Watts. I feel, I've watched Jeff Watts's DVDs, and the way he teaches, I feel, is really similar to like the way I talk and like how I just ramble on. Um, I think we share that passion for painting and the art. Um, I'm not saying I'm as good as him. He's definitely way better. He has a lot more experience. And that's something I like about Jeff Watts is he really values drawing, and that's something that I want to get into and just get my drawing to another level. Because it'll only improve my paintings. When looking at works of art that are the height of the craft of painting, it should intimidate you, but should motivate you. Yeah, that's a really good point. Man, you're making some great points today, bro. That is excellent. I don't know about intimidate. It should, yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, it should intimidate you and be like, damn, I wish I could paint that good. Like how can I paint that good? But for me, like going to a museum and seeing all these old paintings that are really great, Sargent's and Monet's and stuff, I look at it and I just go, damn, I want to go home and do some painting. It just super motivates me. But like I said, I can't really worry about motivation, but it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a good question. Can you talk about the technique of squinting and seeing values? Excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. That is a great point for improving your paintings. Um, yeah, it's something that I forget to do from time to time. Honestly, there's not really much to it. It's just you squint your eyes like this, and what it does is it simplifies the values. Um, it's kind of like magic. You know what I mean? It helps you see things for uh, kind of what they really are, if I could say it like that, at least value wise. It kind of unifies your whole image and scene. You're able to see how dark is that really. It kind of separates the lights from the darks. So you're able to see, okay, this is dark, this is light. And you want to paint what you see while you're squinting. Most of the, from what I've heard anyway, and my experiences, is that for most of the painting, you want to squint like almost all the way to the end. You really only start like opening your eyes and seeing it more clearly like at the very, very end of the painting process, very end of the painting. And even then, you don't want to overdo it with, um, what you're seeing with your eyes open. Sometimes I forget to do that. It's I when I was doing still lifes indoors, I really developed the habit, and when I started using more photo references again, I kind of broke the habit, unfortunately. So that was a great point that you made. Squinting, absolutely. Who is Jeff Watts? Definitely do a Google search for Jeff Watts painting. He's a great artist. what 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 would be criteria to make a great image, or criteria you take into account building your images, like composition, dynamism, point of view, contrast, etc.? I mean, I try to keep it simple, for the most part. Drawing value, color, edges, composition. Um, getting into that a little bit deeper, like each one. Um, it's tough to say. I mean, every painting is different. Um, yeah. What criteria? Huh. That's something I'm gonna have to think about. That's a real. I mean, that could be a video in itself. Um, so I'm gonna have to think about that. What are your feelings about the artwork of someone like Jackson Pollock? Um, I conflicting feelings, feelings about it. Um, I guess Rothko could go into that category as well. Jackson Pollock, Rothko. There's other names too. I'm blanking out right now about um, what their names are. It's conflicting. At one level, it's like you know that painting being worth so much, and uh, to me, I don't. It doesn't touch me in a way. Like I don't have any emotional. I've seen a Pollock in real life. I think I've seen some Rothkos in real life, and I lean more toward like the Rothkos over the Jackson Pollocks, just because he uses more color and um, at least from what I've seen of them, they can have more emotion because there's color, but eh, they don't do much for me, honestly. When I compare them to, Sorolla and Monet and Sargent and all those folks, all those guys, Pollock doesn't really do it for me, and it's just a personal thing. Anyway, here's a good question: do you like to paint light to dark or dark to light? Um, Dark to light usually. Dark to light. I usually start out with the darks. Um, an interesting technique that I read about what Sargent did sometimes was he would start with the middle values, the middle gray values, and slowly build up the darks, slowly build up the lights. And that way he wouldn't get what they call false accents. So he wouldn't make the darks too dark and he wouldn't make the lights too light. So I've done that before as well, but it can be more challenging to do that. Also working on warm and cool colors. If you have any suggestion for temperatures, it would be great. Ooh, that's a tough subject. Suggestion for color temperature. I'm really blanking out right now for color temperature. Oh, excuse me. I think just seeing color temperature and seeing it as temperature and not just hue of a color is valuable. Excuse me. Can we learn to paint without professional trainings? Depends on what you mean by professional trainings. I've watched DVDs from the best artists out there. I mean, I would call that professional training. Of course, it's not one on one, it's not in person, but it's still learning their techniques and their thought process. I think it's very helpful. I think you're going to have trouble if you just if you sat at home in your room with no TV, no computer, you never got on, never looked at other artists' work, never talked to anyone, and you just try to learn painting. It's possible if you just set up still lifes and just keep working at it, critiquing yourself, and just working at it and improving. Yeah, it's possible to learn, but I think it's going to be a tough road ahead of you. You know what I mean? So, it's my thoughts on it. What do you feel when you look at a painting? It depends on what painting. I mean, you could paintings make you feel a lot of different things. Do you start over from the beginning if you messed something up? Oh, that's not usually. If I mess something up, I'll just fix what I messed up. Um, there's sometimes where I'll try to finish the painting as best I can, and I get all the way to the end, and I realize that it's not a good painting, and I'll just either throw it away, or if it's an oil, I'll just wipe the whole thing down and start a new painting. But I usually try to save it as much as I can. Some people have learned painting without pro training. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but depending on what you're talking about for pro training, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I try to learn as much as I can from as many places that I can. You know what I mean? I read articles on the internet. I don't do it as much anymore because I've just built up so much. But I really look now towards the great artists out there of what they're doing and what their thought process is on color and values and drawing and all these things and just overall image creation, composition. That's why reading books. I mean, there's so much knowledge in these books. That's where all my knowledge comes from, really. And then I put it into practice, and then I'm able to speak on and put my own twist on it of what I've learned and what's helpful and what has helped me grow. What do you think about abstract painting? Any plan to do abstract painting? No, that's just not my thing. I'm not into abstract painting at all. I think abstract paintings can be interesting, viewing them, but for me personally, creating them, I have no interest. All right, well, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. Can you do more learning to draw videos? Please answer. Yeah, I'm not really sure where I want to go with that series. Um, I need to do some more drawing myself. It's really like a learn to sketch series, because um, any further along in the series, I mean, you're getting into finished drawings, and really it's just building up the values and the edges, because there's no color involved in drawing. It's just value and edges. Um, Something I've kind of thought and I've kind of realized is that I think I like charcoal pencils and um, better than, oh, excuse me. Oh, damn. I like drawing pencil, or excuse, what am I saying? I like charcoal pencils better than graphite, I think, because I'm able to get darker values a lot easier. Um, so I might start drawing with some charcoal pencils again, and because that way you can get a lot more contrast a lot easier. It can be a lot messier, and it's like, if you have a whole sketchbook full of charcoal drawings, it's kind of hard to contain that. But there are some ways to combat that. Uh, there are some fixative sprays you can spray on them, and also clamping your every time you close your sketchbook and you're putting it away, to clamp it with like one of those black binder clips. That'll keep it from like smearing. But yeah, charcoal pencils are, I think, my favorite kind of drawing tool to use. I might do. I'm gonna experiment with more with that here in the next few months, and then or weeks or days, and we'll see. I know everybody really loves the drawing. My number one video is to learn how to draw number one, and it's almost to 1 million views, I think. It'll be my first video to reach 1 million views. So that's huge for me, and I appreciate all the support. So, I definitely want to keep the drawing series going. It's just I really want to plan it out better and start making, higher quality videos. So please be patient. Can you sell a painting if you were self-taught? Nope, you can't. Can't do that. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, you can sell a painting if you're self-taught. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. Which book do you recommend for absolute beginner? Beginner in painting or beginner in drawing? Please specify, and I will answer your question uh, better. Would you consider analyzing any work of certain artists of your choice, or even some masterpieces, explaining to us what makes those pieces interesting or great, linking with criterias? Yeah, that's I actually have a playlist on my YouTube channel where I have one video where I analyzed, um, I think it was a Monet painting. But I do want to make it a series of some great works and analyzing why I like them and why it's good. That's a good point. That's something, uh, more videos I need to make. There's definitely a lot more videos I need to make. I know that. But yeah, go to my channel page and then check out my playlists. And I have a lot of playlists, but each one of those playlists, I'm looking to try to build those out even further, create like series upon those playlists. And I think there's one. Let me check out what it's called, because I can't remember off the top of my head right now what it's called. But I do analyze one painting. The composition, the colors, the values. I kind of analyze everything. It's kind of an older one from like a year or two ago. Um, yeah, it's called Analyzing Master Paintings. I analyze the color scheme and everything. But I have one video in that playlist, so I'm looking. I will. I do need to do more. That's a note I need to make. To do more of those. I bought the Sienna Medium plein air box, pochade box, after asking you last week. Can't wait to plein air. Thanks, bro. No problem. Hope it works out well for you. Also, have you seen Jim McVickers? Is that how you say his name? McVickers paintings? No, I have not. I'm gonna put him into the search bar right now. Wow. Pretty nice work from what I've seen, what I'm seeing. The landscapes, pretty good work for sure. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, books for drawing. Uh Books for the absolute beginner. The thing I would do is go on Amazon, and I think there's actually a book called Drawing for the Absolute Beginner, and I would just check out books, go into Amazon and type in how to draw. And I think there's a book called Drawing for the Absolute Beginner. Um, I think that's a good book. There's also another book that I've had called Keys to Drawing. That's a good book. Um, so probably any of like the beginner type drawing books are going to be valuable. Um, they'll go in depth on everything, to lighting, shading, values, color, techniques. Not color, but values, edges, drawing, all that stuff. Keep painting and go take a nap. Peace. Yeah. No, I don't need a nap. It's early over here. It's 11 a.m. So I was kind of just, I haven't eaten breakfast yet. So I'm kind of just, you know, when did you start painting? Technically 2009, 2010 with watercolor, but I seriously started painting like 2011 at the end. That's when I switched to acrylics and really got serious with it. How to Draw What You See is an excellent drawing book. Thanks for that. Hopefully that'll help someone. Thank you for Clyde for that comment. Much appreciated. Oh, I'm sorry I can't understand Spanish. Let me try to translate real quick. uh, Hello, how are you, my dear friend? I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Let's see. She has a question in Spanish. First stream I'm seeing of yours. Well, thank you for joining me. Um, Despite the language barrier, thank you for joining me. Or gracias. I know that word at least. Okay, I have problems on adding color to drawings. Do you know how to do that? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not exactly sure. Just got stung by a wasp. I'm going to die. How did you get stung by a wasp? Bro, are you outside? Are you like camping in the woods with Wi-Fi? What the hell? Oh, good authors he's listing off here for drawing books. Harold Speed, Vanderpoel, Bridgman, Loomis. That's true. I forgot about all those drawing books. Andrew Loomis. What's Bridgman's first name? I feel like I would know it, but I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, good. Those are definitely good books for drawing hands and people. I think they have some. I mean, Loomis has so many books. I think there's probably one on just drawing overall. What do you feel when you look at someone's painting? I mean, it depends. Like I said earlier, it depends on the painting. Clive, what's going on, bro? Clive 5 Art, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I don't know how long you'll stick around, but thanks for popping in and checking me out live. Looking forward to the painting collaboration that we're going to post Monday. I have to edit my video today so that we can post them on Monday. I don't want to give away what it is, but painting challenge video is what I call them. Painting challenge collaboration coming out Monday. It's gonna be a good one, I think. I'm okay with how mine came out, but as always, I could have done better. But for the time it took to do it, I think it came out great. So looking forward to seeing everyone's video. Did you learn sketching first or paintings? I started drawing when I was 5, and I did drawing my whole life till I was like 20. So yeah, drawing first. And you should definitely learn drawing first. I think drawing is the foundation of all art. All art. What's the difference between pigment and hue? Hue is the actual color, like red, blue, yellow, green. Like what hue is it? Pigment is like, to me, pigment is like what creates the actual paint, like what powder pigment. Um, pigment is like a powder, color powder. That's how I think of it anyway. So anyway, pigment is what creates paint, and hue is just what color bias is it? Is it a red, more of a red hue, a yellow hue, a golden hue, an orange, whatever you want to call it. Hi, I'm a new subscriber. Loved your paintings, and I've learned a few things. Well, thanks for joining me. Glad you learned a few things. Looking forward to your challenge. No worries, my friend. Wait till you see mine. Was short on time. Take care. Speak soon. Yeah, I got you. Short on time. Yeah, I think it was a tough challenge. That's for sure. Jason definitely knows how to come up with a tough one. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, Clive. Everybody, check out Clive 5Arts channel. He does acrylic paintings and does all kinds of lessons, man. So check out his work and channel. I'm not answering that question again. What do you feel when you look at someone's painting? I'm not I'm not answering it again, bro. I feel great. I feel energized. I feel amazing. Is that what you're looking for? I mean, what? It's like the third time you've asked it, bro. I said it depends. I'm going to feel different looking at a portrait than I do a landscape or a still life, it's a different thing. So, uh, what's going on, everybody? What's everybody up to this Saturday? How can I get started with painting? You buy the materials. Watch the beginning of this live stream. You draw more, sketch more, understand the technical aspects of painting, understand the fundamentals, experiment, practice more, paint small, go outside, paint outside, paint still lifes, paint from life as much as you can, and learn more from drawing books, get critiques from other artists. Boom. There you go. But anyway, today, guys, I'm gonna. What am I doing today? I'm doing this live stream because I had some time, and I got to edit my painting challenge video that's coming out Monday. Everybody, stay tuned for that. Everybody, check out the plein air video that came out today, and if you haven't, check out last week's, which is my favorite episode number 8. Today is episode number 9, called "The End of Spring." Check out that plein air adventure video. It's pretty cool. Number 8 was my favorite by far, "The Last Light." Check out that episode. And had a lot of fun doing those plein air adventure videos. We're almost to the end of the season. There's only 11 episodes. Unless I do another one, it'll be 12. But season 1, there's going to be 11 or 12 episodes. So it's gone by really quickly. The summer has gone by really quickly. But And thanks to everybody for tuning in for this live stream. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep going with this. It's almost to the end. I've said enough. I don't want to make it a super long video. And eating KFC and laughing at your video, that's what I'm doing. Okay, glad I'm entertaining. Um, did an abstract painting yesterday, took dog to Petco today, paint tomorrow. That sounds like a good plan. Sounds pretty cool. I might be going to the coast tomorrow. My girlfriend really wants to go to the coast, see the ocean, and I said, okay, but on the way back, we're going to the redwood forest so I can take some photos for some future paintings, because that's something I really want to do. She loves the coast, and I love the forest, so it's interesting. I love the coast too, but I'd rather be in Hawaii in the ocean and not Northern California where it's cold. Um, so yeah, might go to the coast tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty epic. Today, I'm just probably gonna make a smoothie. I'm gonna make some coconut almond yogurt, some raw coconut almond yogurt, and edit that video. I might do some painting, but I don't really have. I might do some plein air painting, maybe. I don't know. I haven't done plein air in a while, so I need to get back into it. Might do some drawing. I just have a lot of things to work on, especially with the business aspect, the business side of the art. I need to fix up my website. My YouTube channel, fix up everything. So I got a lot of work to do. Did you get a new car? No, I did not. I don't have a car right now. I'm borrowing my girlfriend's parents' Jeep, and it's just about as crappy as my car was, except that this car rolls and it works. My car kind of crapped out on me, so I had to sell it or donate it a few months ago, and I can't afford a car right now, so just riding out the storm. You know what I mean? Um, my work did say, they've been saying for a while that they're going to give me a car, and I won't have to worry about it. So I'm waiting out the storm. So hopefully our company will start making some more money, and we'll have a car with the insurance and all that paid for. So we'll see what happens. If you could go to any country in South America, where would you go to paint? Wow, that's a really good question. I would have to do a lot of research because I don't know a whole lot about all the different countries and like what is there. Um, I know Brazil. Brazil is huge, and I know there's beaches there on the coast. There's forests and stuff, but I'm not really sure. Like how much is there to actually see there? Um, there's so many different countries. I don't even know all the countries in South America. There's Argentina, Chile, Peru. I think Peru, Brazil. I mean, uh, Colombia. All those places. I mean, I don't even know. I'd have to really do some research and think about it. South America kind of gets. Everybody always talks about like going to a trip to Europe or Hawaii or some tropical place. I never really hear many people like, okay, we're going to go to South America. You know what I mean? It's kind of just a different experience. So I would definitely have to do some research on that. But have you painted Table Mountain? No, I have not. Where is Table Mountain? Sounds like it's in the desert somewhere. I haven't really been to Arizona or Utah or the desert to be able to paint. I've been to both of those states, but haven't been able to have time to paint. Got stung by a wasp and still sketching. You have no excuses. That's true, bro. That's true. Good work. Have you any opinion about evolution of graphic art today? Does it really stagnate, quietly evolve, or even is diversifying? What comes after modern art in terms of mainstreams? Man, you are hitting me with the hard questions today. I'm not used to these hard questions, man. Any opinion about the evolution of graphic art today? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough. I don't really follow it enough. I kind of just do what I need to do for my own work, and I just do what I like and what makes sense to me and what appeals to me. Um, yeah, that's a really tough question for me to answer. I'm not like involved with it enough to really, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Does it really stagnate, quietly evolve, or I think there's a lot of trends that happen. I think Apple is a major player in like what trends are set. The whole flat, um, really flat design of like websites and futuristic looking, and I think it's really. But at the same time, there's so many aspects to it. Like web design has changed dramatically in the past few years. Um, when responsive design kind of hit, um, and I was really at the very beginning of that. I learned it like as it was breaking. I really delved into it and learned it from my job, and I was creating. We had one of the first responsive websites out there before a lot of the major players. The big companies started having responsive websites, and so I mean, there's so many aspects to it. What comes after modern art in terms of mainstreams? That's a good question. I have no idea. Those are good questions, though. Huge questions. Yeah, they're definitely interesting questions. No need to apologize or anything. It's just um, they're really difficult for me to answer. I don't really have enough insight to really answer them fully. You know what I mean? Um, but I try to give my opinion, on it when I can. But episode 8 of Plain Air Adventures was great. I loved the light on the trees. Yeah, thank you. I thought that was one of the best episodes so far. A lot of the other episodes, a lot of those episodes are kind of mediocre, but it's real. You know what I wanted? I wanted it to be at the end of the day. I wanted it to be real, and not every painting, plein air adventure that I have is good. Like episode 3, like with the cloud studies. I went out there, and the clouds were already gone. So like I had to like there was only like a few clouds in the sky. I had to really work with it, and it wasn't really the best. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Um, but episode 8, yeah, I really loved that, and that was the shortest episode. You know what I mean? I had to really go quickly. I mean, I painted the painting in like 14 minutes. I did a 6x8, and it came out beautifully, wonderfully for me. I really loved the harmony of the colors and everything and the scene. You know, that's all I can think about it, say about it. Do you think there's been a revival in academic art, or is it that just because we're part of a community now that we feel it more prevalent than it is? Yeah, I don't know if there's been like a revival, but I think it's more popular now. Um, I think because of the internet and all this, the connectedness of everything, we're able to just see everything a lot more uh, clearly. Um, to get political about it, nah, I don't want to go there. Never mind. Um, you, you know, talking about news briefly, it's kind of like we see so much bad stuff in the news with police brutality and police beatings and profiling and all this kind of stuff. And it seems like it's so bad nowadays, but it's always been that way. It's just now that with Twitter, everybody reports stuff. Everybody has a camera. Everybody can be a reporter. Everybody has a phone with a camera. Everybody can record stuff. So it just seems more. It's it just seems worse than it is. You know what I mean? But it's always been that way. There's always been war. There's always been disease, death, poverty. It's always been there. Um, so yeah, in the same way, yeah, maybe academics. I think maybe it's getting more popular, but it's always been there. Episode 4 was my favorite. What was episode 4? God, I don't even remember. Episode 4, episode 4. Oh, the sunset. Yeah, that's probably my second favorite. Um, that was also another one with the last light of the day, and I had to go really quickly. But it wasn't a traditional sunset. It wasn't like the sun with the clear sky and its setting, which are always fun to paint. I should probably do one of those eventually as well, a video of that. But um, yeah, that was a cool one. I've enjoyed all of them. This morning's turned out well. Thanks. I appreciate it, Clyde. Yeah, I mean, I do my best in the time. They're real videos, you know what I mean? I go out to a location and see what happens. Anyways, I'm out. Thank you for the live video. Enjoy it. See you soon. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. Is the time of live chat fixed and pre-announced? Nope. Usually random, unfortunately. Um, I did one this Saturday and I did one last Saturday around the same time, and my girlfriend happened to be out doing things this weekend, and last weekend, so I have time alone to where I can do a live stream and just talk out loud and not worrying about disrupting her, because my apartment is a studio with a loft, so it's just one big open room. There's no, we don't have a one bedroom. We don't have a room where I can go into a separate room. We're always together. Um, but yeah, maybe in the future I'll go up to the loft and do a live stream on my bed or something. And um, so I'm just seeing this and missed the whole thing. I'll watch the recap. Yeah, definitely watch the recap, because the first 30 minutes is like a discussion about improving your paintings. And then after that, like the last hour has just been like me talking on points that people in the chat brought up. But I really try to stay focused in the beginning because I know people in the recap are going to want to watch that. And I hope it'll be helpful to you. So anyway, sorry you came in to the discussion late. Been going to the gym, and I think that will help with life drawing because I can be more empathetic and have a different dimension of understanding of anatomy. Just happened to think that in my head. Yeah, I know what you mean. And going to the gym is great, man. Really clears your head. I need to get back into it, but I kind of hurt my elbow. I have epicondylitis in this elbow, so it's kind of going away now. I've kind of been working on it and doing some exercises to help with it, but it's been that way for a few months, and sucks, dude. Even I think I have tricep tendonitis too, so it just sucks. I can't do anything in the gym. I can't really even do push-ups or anything. What painting is your favorite out of all you have done? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I can't really answer that. Probably one of the paintings on my homepage. If you go to my website and check out my homepage, I have a bunch of landscape paintings there. Probably one of those. Thanks for all your input today. Have a good weekend. I'm out. Take care. Yeah, you as well. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to do these live streams like once a week or once every 2 weeks if I when I can. I like kind of connecting with you guys and just checking in. But I'm trying to make them there in the beginning, like the first half an hour to an hour. I'll speak on a topic and maybe like take comments from you guys on that topic or different viewpoints of that and speak on those. But because for the recap for people that want to watch them again, I want them to be focused. I have hundreds of screenshots of your paintings on my phone. That's funny. Yeah, Clyde. Yeah, you bought one of my good ones when I was doing acrylic. The one with the boat. Yeah, that was a good one. I hope you enjoy that one. Um, Hopefully it'll be worth something one day. I don't know. Already don't do acrylics one day, or I already don't do acrylics, so it's kind of already somewhat valuable, at least to me. I don't do acrylics anymore, and you have an acrylic painting of mine, so it's pretty cool. I appreciate you purchasing that, and I hope you enjoy it. What is your favorite subject to paint? Um, hmm, I like painting landscapes. I like painting trees. I'm starting to do forests and trees now. That's kind of like where I want to go with my work for a while. Portraits are always fun, but they're tough to paint, especially from life. I've never really painted a portrait from life. Um, Having someone sit for you, but doing from photo reference, yeah, portraits are pretty fun. Still lifes are fun. It's all fun, but I really love getting out in nature and painting. That's probably the funnest thing for me. Landscapes and trees, sunsets. I really like sunsets and dappled light. Um, I like a challenge. Do you not do mini tonal pencil drawings? Would love to see you do site size cast drawings or something. Yeah, I mean, recently I haven't really done much drawing at all. I'm trying to get back into it. I did some sketches while I was in Hawaii, and I've done some sketches in the past. And I've gone to some sketching um, meetup groups where I did some sketching from life, from models and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an area I need to explore more. I know it's just it's not the biggest interest of mine right now, but I do see its importance, and I do want to start getting back into drawing. Every other day, every day, just for a little while, sketching. Like I said earlier, I really like charcoal pencils because I'm able to get dark really quickly and easily, and so I might start experimenting with that more. But yeah, drawing from life and doing the site size and stuff like that. That's Have you ever had your art stolen or used without credit? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think my art is big enough yet for that to happen. Um, I know everybody wants to see more drawing stuff, more drawing stuff. So yeah, I'll get into some drawing, man. I'll start doing some more drawing. Um, I could show you like I did like three sketches while I was in Hawaii of this tree. I could show you guys those, but I don't even know. They aren't really dark enough. They're kind of just like line drawings. I only had like one or two pencils, so I couldn't go really dark, and I didn't really have the time to do it. But if you guys have seen my Hawaii video, it was under the banyan tree, which this banyan tree is so epic. Um, it has this one main trunk, and it grows these branches, and then these branches start growing other trunks. So there's like 25 different trunks all around this big, one city block of a tree, and it's all this same tree. It's all one tree, and it was just amazing. So I drew some sketches of it. Yeah, they're so light you probably wouldn't even be able to see them. Um, but this is like the main trunk. I'll just show them anyway. So yeah, that's why I didn't get too dark with them. And these were really quick sketches. I mean, I probably spent, I'm sitting on a bench and I probably spent like 15 minutes on each one, just sketching it up. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get better at it and start doing like darker, really getting the value right and focusing on that. But with the pencils I had, I wasn't able to do that. But yeah, I do keep sketchbooks, but I don't really have. Let me see. I don't really have any recent sketchbooks that I have that are like filled up. You know, oh, I was drawing some. These are all like quick thumbnail sketches. I'll show you guys in a minute. Let me see. Here's one drawing I did. I think I did a video on this on YouTube. You guys have seen. Not my best, but I did an exercise as a value scale, and it looks like my cat stepped on it here. But it's good exercise to do a value scale like that. Try to go from dark to light. Um, yeah, let me show you guys some. Ah, I did some head sketches of the Asaro head, the John Asaro head. I'll type that in the chat for you guys to Google. So I just did like, this is when I was doing portraits, just trying to learn the forms of the head. And this is pretty rough, but it's just quick stuff. I probably spent a few minutes on these. Nothing real detailed. Just quick stuff. So just stuff like that. I was sketching some of Sargent's paintings, just doing some line drawings. I think I have another one here. Yeah. Some of you guys might recognize these, especially that one. And you can see this one I drew an X over. It's just crap, So yeah, stuff like that. I just started doing little sketches, but nothing that took a lot of time. So yeah, portraits can be difficult, but you you can't worry about You said you'll suck at them. Yeah, but I still. Oh, you still suck at them. Yeah, I mean it's practice. It's practice. You know, takes time. Well, anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna get off here. It's been almost 2 hours, and I'm gonna make some breakfast. I got some things to get done today. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and thank you for watching. And as always, thank you for checking out the live stream and supporting my channel and supporting me. You know, when you watch my videos, it supports me. It helps me out a little bit. You know, I'm able to buy groceries when you guys watch my channel. You know what I mean? So this banana was paid for by you guys. You know what I mean? So thank you very much, and stay tuned. Maybe next weekend I'll have another live stream. If not, I'll try to have one the next weekend or sometime soon. You know, I'll try to keep. You know, I'll do what I can. You know, and if there are any topics you guys want me to touch on, leave it in the comment in the chat section right now um, for future live streams. You know, I've touched on uh, you know what defines a style. I've touched on improving your paintings. You know, what are some other aspects, overall aspects of art, drawing, painting that you'd like me to touch on? You know, any suggestions are welcome. So. Um, I inspired you to draw with Learn to Draw series. You don't do paintings though. Well, thanks for tuning in anyway. I'll try to, you know, I'm trying to do more videos on drawing and stuff and kind of balance it out for everybody. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Um, Mixing coolers, emotion and painting. I don't know. We all need your wisdom. Yeah, emotion and painting. That's a good one. I mean, I kind of covered that in the yeah, I could cover that in more depth actually, emotion and painting. You know, it kind of branches under style, but really it could be its own thing, emotion and painting. That's really something to think about. Um, Mixing colors, staying inspired, finding inspiration. Yeah, no promises for next weekend, but I'll do my best. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. Anyway, I'll give you guys another minute for the 28 people watching. Any suggestions? You know, this is your time to speak up. If you have trouble with anything you want me to touch on next week or in the next live stream, you know, put it in the comments. I'm gonna take note of all these and we'll see what I come up with. You know, I'm trying to come up with a list of different topics so that I can do multiple live streams. Um, Motivation, emotion and painting, mixing colors, staying inspired, finding inspiration. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon or great morning, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. And stay tuned for Monday. Painting challenge video being posted on Monday. Check it out, bro. Check it out Monday. Anyway, take care, guys. Peace.